When you close your eyes and imagine the garden of your dreams, what does it look like? I grew up spending summers in my grandma's garden. It wasn't big, but there was this crazy variety of plants, trees, bushes, flowers of all kinds, berries, fruits, vegetables, a greenhouse with beefsteak tomatoes, a swing, a tub with frogs, secret paths, perfume of jasmine by the window, huge sweet strawberries ripening by the hour that I would sit by and wait for, smell of fresh green salad and raspberry tea boiled on a kerosene stove. It was inconceivable. It was a mini universe where I was getting lost every day and wouldn't want to leave. This garden has become my happy place and was for a long time after. So when we decided to make a garden, I had a concept in my mind already. A place with insane variety of whimsical, huge plants, where no two plants are the same, where you can get lost for hours and still discover new things. The Alice in Wonderland garden, with fat, huge caterpillars, smiling cats, private tea parties, rose bushes, the king, and the queen, and even the almost white rabbit, the toad, and the fish, Bill the lizard, they all live here in the garden, and even Chanel number 5 flower, ylang ylang, is welcoming all the passers-by with its intense aroma. And by the Zen pond, we always remember the famous Basho's haiku. Old pond, frog jumps in, plop. My husband grew up climbing mango trees, so he happily joined me in this adventure.
Welcome to our garden. This is our magical path to Alice in Wonderland. And we are not professionals. When you look at our garden, you may think that, oh, these guys are gardeners and professionals. We are not. I am a physician by profession, so I never had any gardening background. But it took us a lot of research, trial and error in our gardening. And you went to a master gardener program.
Yes,
so what you see here in our garden is an effort, a constant practice, constant learning, and a lot of experimentation on trying to create a healthy environment for our plants to thrive. How two people very much able to create a beautiful, healthy, lush looking, edible garden and fruit tree garden.
And this is our pond, and it's 100% fed by rainwater through a system of downspouts.
And what's the benefit of having the pond water? Many plants, because the city water is very alkaline and it has chlorine in it, they don't like it. they do not thrive it. As soon as we start putting the pond water or the rainwater that's collected in the pond, plants thrive. Seems like there are certain minerals that's present in the rainwater that the plants like, plus there is the pH. It's neither too acidic nor too alkaline, so the rainwater has the perfect pH, lot of minerals, and the plants like it. So if this is what we have done, and it's part of our learning process as well, that how to give plants what they like. They like the natural environment, they don't like the city water, they like the rainwater, and they thrive a lot when we start feeding them. It's also a living ecosystem. The water that comes here, it's collected, it's rainwater, and normally when you start collecting rainwater, it's going to be attacked by mosquitoes because they like to lay eggs there. So what we did is, this pond is full of fish. It's a Florida local fish that actually eat the mosquito eggs. So we have never seen any mosquitoes around, no mosquito eggs. And the first reason why you should grow your own food is you are blessed. Why you are blessed here, it's in Florida, especially South Florida, is you have the opportunity to grow the best of both worlds. And I'm talking about both worlds in the sense as if you divide the whole climate zone into north and south, in the northern climates you grow veggies like spinach, veggies like onions and garlic and potatoes, and people up north cannot think of growing tropical fruit trees like guava or loquats or banana or papaya or coconuts. Our weather here is very hot and humid and rainy during the summer season, but it's cool during the winter months, and it does rain less, but that cool weather, the cool nights, help you to grow veggies during that certain winter months. The winter months for our tropicals is more like a drought. They are growing their roots, they are preparing for the summer season. They are not fruiting. Right now it is July and we have papayas fruiting, bananas fruiting, guavas are fruiting, pineapples are fruiting. We have a lot of Jamaican and Barbados cherries that are blooming and fruiting. We have mangoes in July that are fruiting. So all the tropical fruit trees are fruiting and flowering in the hot summer months when the rains start. We have sugar apples that are fruiting, achimoyas that are fruiting, so many fruits to try, jackfruits that are fruiting right now and ripening. But our veggies don't do well in this hot weather in the summer months. When they do well is during the winter, so that's when you can plant the veggies, tomatoes and kales, all these that you can eat every day in your salads and make curries and cook them with your rice and potatoes and however you want. All these, they do well if you start in the winter, in the months like September, and they grow over the winter. By March the weather starts to get hot and you are actually done with the veggies. And we are blessed with the weather as such that we have many others that actually you can grow after the hot season, hot weather starts, like katuk, like African potato mint, chaya, which is a spinach, which is like a tropical spinach, and moringa grows very well. And we will talk about these nutritious plants later, but it's kind of a blessing here in South Florida that we can grow so many things and utilize different times of the year to grow actually everything that we grow in the north, as well as have our own selection of tropicals here that do very well in the summer months. And I think it's a great reason to use this blessing of the weather that we have got to do something in your small area of the garden. If you look at this small area here, we have a Ming aralia which can be used in your salads, very nutritious. We have a bamboo behind which is also edible, plus gives a nice accent and very ornamentally beautiful. We have a loquat tree on the right which gives very nice berries. Talking about allowing things to go naturally, we are not worried about possums and raccoons because we found out that they are beneficial as well. Because when we mulch the ground, naturally there will be many grubs, and you see there it's dig everywhere. It's actually the possums and the raccoons come and dig all the grubs. What people would do automatically as a knee-jerk reaction is put chemicals to kill those grubs because grubs are not beneficial. But you don't have to do that. You just allow the opossums. They'll go for the grubs first. That's more delicious for them. And you don't have to worry about the raccoons either because they will have food all around all year long. And you will have your mulch here. It looks a little ugly. Every morning we see our mulch is dug. We just come and we spread them, and you can make them look nice right away. And other thing that you see in the mulch is these worms here. They are millipedes. They are not worms. What you see here is these are millipedes, and they actually eat. This is their food, and a lot of them we have everywhere. They are not harmful organisms. They eat the mulch and they decompose, and they poop a very rich, nutritious poop, which is called millipoo. And it's very healthy for the plants to have millipoo. It's full of nutrients for the roots of the plants. Same as worm castings, like people have earthworms whose castings are used as a fertilizer, as a nutrition for the plants, and these also do the same thing. So natural gardening means that you are creating a system where each pest which is considered a pest is not a pest. It's just one organism in the cycle of pest and predators. You do not kill the predators because they are controlling your pest. Same way, you leave the if you leave the pests here, there will be a predator coming. If you don't kill the predators will take care of the pests. So that's how you actually build the soil. You actually build a cycle of organisms in our garden, and that actually not only is good for the trees, it's actually good for you because you don't have to worry so much about what's happening with the plants. They are taking care of themselves. Another example of last beautiful looking landscape with edible gardening is this one. Here, this is a perennial peanut, which is a nitrogen fixer as well as it's a ground cover, so it keeps the ground moist in the heat. And here we have the mint, which you can use for your tea, for your salads, for your curry. So they are interplanted together, and it really looks very nice and beautiful if you look at this ground cover. So it's a good alternative for lawn or just growing grass, and it doesn't require watering. Actually, it gives you back. It fixes nitrogen in the soil, as well as I always see bees hovering around, so it also helps to attract the bees, and bees are good for your garden. They help to pollinate many fruit trees. Reason number 2 of why you should grow your own food and why you should grow organically is, and this thing we found out because we were eating store-bought peaches and plums. And my work was in California, North California, and we were eating from local growers, and it was the sweetest, most delicious plums and peaches that I never thought they would be like that. I didn't grow up eating peaches and plums. I grew up eating mangoes and coconuts and bananas, so I didn't really know about those. But when you really buy from local growers rather than from store, then one first thing that you will find out immediately is the taste of the fruits, taste of the food, and it's delicious. Second thing is nutrition. Now that where that comes, you need to look at whether the people who are growing, those local farmers, are they really looking into nutrition, or they just want mass production and fruit to look impeccable and nice. So that's where I say grow your own food, because they are not just delicious, they are actually nutritious as well. Now this is a sugar apple. We bagged it to prevent from Caribbean fruit flies and other kinds of flies that actually go in and damage the fruit. But the whole point is to grow your own food, to grow your own fruit based on two important concepts. One is you can for sure know that it's going to be tasty, because store-bought ones, they come from different places where they have to store it for a long time, and they many times have to go through a process called irradiation. And if it's not irradiation, like for mangoes, they put in hot 100 degrees water for a whole hour, and that's going to rip off a lot of nutrients from the skin, which is, and the surrounding flesh, which is really the part where all the nutrients are in most of the fruits. So if you are looking into nutritious fruit and tasty, delicious ones, grow your own. You can harvest when it is almost ripe, instead of the ones that you buy from store, where they harvest, they're hard and green, and they go through almost a month of traveling from one country to another and finally land up in your store. They may look nice, but inside they really don't have the real taste of that fruit, and really not much nutrition to it either. So in the first two reasons we had, one was to make sure that you grow your own food so that you know what is going into your food, all the nutrients, and you don't buy from the store. The taste is different, the nutrition is different. Another is that you have such a blessed weather here in Florida that you want to make use of such a wonderful weather for gardening and for veggies and tropical fruit trees. The third reason why you should be doing the gardening and not letting someone else, hired personnel, do it, because you will find out when you start doing it that it's not just physical health and physical exercise, because you'll be walking around, sometimes digging, sometimes planting, sometimes pruning. So you also find out that when you plant trees, when you plant seeds, when they start growing, and the process of planting them as well gives a lot of satisfaction. It's good for your mental health as well. Makes you feel happy seeing the plant grow every day. Each new leaf that comes out of a plant that you planted gives you joy and happiness. And there are some researchers who say that playing with the soil itself, the soil has this beneficial microorganisms that actually helps to integrate with our microbiome to give more happiness. That is in itself something to be researched in future. But even without that, even for a layman like me, just seeing plants grow and flourish and flower and fruit is so much joy and so much happiness to take care of them, to take care of something that's alive and sometimes something that's growing. The plant grows and something within you is also growing. And it's not an easy job, I can tell you. It's difficult in the sense that you have to put your physical energy, your mind will be constantly occupied, but there is a lot of benefit to it. And you get a good sleep, you don't have to take antidepressants or any medicines to keep you calm. And it's a mental workout in itself, and it's good for physical as well as mental well-being. and emotional as well. So hope this third reason is a good enough reason for you to yourself start doing your garden. We're showing you a small section of our garden, and let me remind you, the theme of our garden is it has to be edible, it has to be organic, it has to look beautiful as well, because we know that everyone wants to make their garden look beautiful, and all we see is a big lawn that everyone mows every week. But we wanted variety, we wanted things to start flourishing. And look up here, so this is a different vine that gives very beautiful flowers and fragrant flowers. Up here is jasmine, and this fruit is here from the Hawaiian flowering vine that's fragrant in the evening, intensely fragrant. The white flowers, it's called stephanotis, and it's really fragrant. You can see on the wall there are different philodendrons that are kind of blending in with the surroundings, so you can make it look beautiful. But look a little bit on the right. We have a red lime here that's doing very well. If you look behind, you can see a papaya. This is a male papaya. The flowers are from male. Behind it there is a female papaya, so they are helping each other. Not so far away you see a tree. This is moringa tree, and these leaves are edible, very nutritious, very high in protein, and you can eat it like this, or you can put in the salad, you can cook it in your food, and they don't need much to grow. They're pretty easy. And this is mango here, so you can have mango fruits.